Seattle, a city nestled in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, is a place of contrasts. Known for its lush evergreen forests, the iconic Space Needle, and a thriving tech industry, it is also the birthplace of one of the most influential musical movements of the late 20th century, grunge. This chronicle delves into the origins, rise, and cultural impact of grunge, a genre that emerged from Seattle's underground music scene and forever altered the landscape of rock music. To understand grunge, one must first explore the cultural and historical context of Seattle. The city, often characterized by its overcast skies and frequent rain, has long been a haven for artists, musicians, and countercultural movements. In the 1970s and 1980s, Seattle's music scene was a melting pot of punk rock, heavy metal, and indie rock. Bands like the Sonics, the Wailers, and Heart laid the groundwork for a vibrant local music culture. The DIY, do-it-yourself, ethos of punk rock resonated deeply with Seattle's musicians. Independent record labels such as Sub Pop emerged to support local talent, fostering a sense of community and collaboration. Venues like the Crocodile Cafe, the Central Tavern, and the Vogue became incubators for emerging bands, providing a platform for experimentation and self-expression. Grunge, as a genre, is difficult to define. It is a fusion of punk's raw energy, metal's heavy riffs, and indie rock's introspective lyrics. The term grunge itself was initially used as a pejorative to describe the dirty, unpolished sound of these bands. However, it soon became a badge of honor for musicians who rejected the glitz and glamour of mainstream rock. The origins of grunge can be traced back to the mid-1980s, when bands like Green River, Mudhoney, and Soundgarden began to gain traction in Seattle's underground scene. Green River, often credited as one of the first grunge bands, combined punk's aggression with metal's intensity, creating a sound that was both chaotic and melodic. Mudhoney, formed by former members of Green River, embraced a more garage rock aesthetic, while Soundgarden leaned toward a heavier psychedelic sound. While these bands laid the foundation, it was Nirvana that catapulted grunge into the mainstream. Formed in 1987 by Kurt Cobain and Krist Novoselic, Nirvana's music encapsulated the angst and disillusionment of a generation. Their 1991 album, Nevermind, featuring the iconic single Smells Like Teen Spirit, became a cultural phenomenon. The album's success was unprecedented, selling millions of copies and challenging the dominance of hair metal and pop music. Nirvana's rise to fame was both a blessing and a curse for the grunge movement. On one hand, it brought international attention to Seattle's music scene, paving the way for other bands like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Stone Temple Pilots. On the other hand, it led to the commercialization and commodification of grunge, diluting its authenticity and alienating some of its original fans. Grunge was more than just a musical genre. It was a lifestyle and a cultural statement. The fashion associated with grunge, flannel shirts, ripped jeans, and Doc Martens reflected the working-class roots of its musicians and fans. This anti-fashion statement stood in stark contrast to the flashy, over-the-top styles of 1980s rock stars. Lyrically, grunge songs often dealt with themes of alienation, depression, and social issues. Kurt Cobain's introspective and often cryptic lyrics resonated with a generation grappling with economic uncertainty and existential angst. Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam addressed political and environmental concerns, while Lane Staley of Alice in Chains explored themes of addiction and despair. The sudden success of grunge came at a cost. Many of its leading figures struggled with the pressures of fame, leading to personal and professional challenges. Kurt Cobain's tragic death in 1994 marked the end of an era and left a void in the music world. Lane Staley and Mike Starr of Alice in Chains also battled addiction, with Staley's death in 2002 serving as a somber reminder of the darker side of grunge. Despite these losses, the legacy of grunge endures. Bands like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden continued to produce music and tour, maintaining a loyal fan base. The influence of grunge can be heard in countless bands across genres, from alternative rock to metal. Today, Seattle remains a vibrant cultural hub, and the spirit of grunge lives on in its music scene. The city's rich history is celebrated through landmarks like the Museum of Pop Culture, MoPop, which features exhibits on grunge and its pioneers. Annual events like Sub Pop's anniversary concerts and the Capitol Hill Block Party pay homage to the city's musical heritage. The grunge movement also left an indelible mark on the global music industry. It challenged the status quo, proving that raw, authentic music could resonate with a wide audience. Grunge's emphasis on individuality and self-expression continues to inspire new generations of musicians and fans. Seattle's grunge movement was a cultural revolution that transcended music. It was a reflection of the city's unique identity, a blend of rugged individualism, artistic innovation, and a touch of melancholy. From the underground clubs of the 1980s to the global stage of the 1990s, grunge transformed the way we think about music, fashion, and culture. Though its heyday may have passed, the spirit of grunge remains alive in Seattle and beyond, a testament to the enduring power of authenticity and creativity.